What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, we're glad you found us. I hope you enjoy the videos. If you haven't been here in a while, where have you been? Besides being a really weak lead into this video's subject, that's a question that probably gets asked more in this country than you can imagine. People in this country disappear. Approximately 2,300 Americans are reported missing every single day. There's thousands of reasons people go missing. This list is about people who fall under the legal definition of missing persons. According to the U.S. legal definition, a missing person is defined as a person 18 years or older whose disappearance is possibly not voluntary, or a child whose whereabouts are unknown to the child's legal custodian. Most people think missing children are the largest percentage of missing persons. They are not. Those with drug and alcohol addictions, psychiatric problems, elderly suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's make up the bulk of missing cases. On this list, we'll be focusing on the amount and the percentages of missing persons, not the individual cases. If you want to learn more about individual cases, I have some stats you can research at the end of the video, as well as some links below in the description. That being said, why don't we sit back and learn something by watching my top 10 states you're most likely to become a missing person. Number 10, Arkansas. There's about 3 million residents in Arkansas, and about 500 of them are currently missing. If you've ever been to some of the parts of Arkansas I talk about in my other videos, you're probably thinking most of these went voluntarily. Arkansas has such a problem with missing people and the lack of public access to missing person data that the Attorney General has started an organization for missing people and their families. Never forgotten. Arkansas Takes Action was established to raise awareness for these missing people. The state even started an online database to search for missing people. You could see that at neverforgotten.ar.gov. Number 9, Hawaii. It seems that it would be sort of hard to go missing on an island. On the mainland, it's easy. You cross the state border, you head to Mexico or Canada, and just disappear. Head to the Yukon Territory, maybe even Alaska. But on an island, where are you gonna go? The next town over? The next island over? I think it would be hard to be missing and alive in Hawaii. Everybody seems to know everybody. I feel like if you went to another town or another island, it would get back to your people kind of quick. And stop typing. I'm sure you could just get on a ship someplace and leave. I get it. Don't explain it to us, please. As of January 2019, there were 109 missing person cases open within the island, and it has one of the highest rates of missing individuals under the age of 18. I guess people do get lost in paradise. Number 8, Wyoming. Wyoming is normally just known for being the home of Yellowstone National Park. The state is very wide open and is not really densely populated at all, and is actually the least populated state in the country. And you'd think it would be Rhode Island, but no, it's Wyoming. They don't have a lot of missing people, but since they have so few people, it's easy to show up on a list like this. There's about 5 to 7 missing persons per every 100,000 residents. Currently, there are 45 open missing person cases in Wyoming. Wyoming has always had a runaway problem, and I'm sure a good portion of those 45 are runaways. I actually know a couple that were, they're now adults, but they ran away from Wyoming years ago, and they said it was because of boredom. Boredom is a big motivator to skip town as a teen, I guess. Well, that's common sense, I guess. But the good news is Wyoming has plenty of boredom to go around. So I'm sure that has, like I said, I'm sure that has a lot to do with their missing people. Number 7, Montana. Somewhere around 145 missing people are on Montana's Department of Justice missing person list. I know I said I won't really focus on individual cases, but they have some really strange ones in Montana. One of these is the strange case of Patricia Meehan that dates back to April of 1989. Patricia went missing after getting into a car accident when she collided with another vehicle after driving on the wrong side of the road. Once the police arrived, Patricia was nowhere to be found. The other driver said Patricia got out of the car with a blank stare on her face and just calmly walked away from the scene. No trace of Patricia Meehan has ever been found, other than her car. The car was still there. Now, I saw this one on Unsolved Mysteries back in the day, years ago, and I remember they had found a transient woman that they were sure was her, but then when they finally fingerprinted her, they realized it wasn't her, but they have never had a single solid trace of this woman. She just walked off into the prairie, never to be seen again. Number 6, Idaho. Idaho has a few main cities like Boise, Twin Falls, Pocatello, Idaho Falls. The Gem State is ranked 39th in population and 14th in area. There is also about 4.8 million acres of wilderness in this state. That's third largest in the country. Unfortunately, because of that large amount of wilderness, many people go missing here every year. A lot of them are people that want to go missing. Idaho has a strange amount of people living off the grid. You know, those preppers, people like that, dodging subpoenas, dodging ex-girlfriends, things like that. Dodging DNA tests, you know those people. The state has a social media page for updates on missing person cases, and it's updated with new missing people every few days. Thankfully, the rate of finding these individuals is pretty good, all things considered. There's about 80 people missing within the state at any time, according to the Idaho State Police. Number 5, Nevada. When you think of Nevada, you're usually thinking about the nightlife, the gambling, the desert. Nevada was once run by the mob. It's the only place that has prostitution that's legal, and unfortunately, it's where about 400 missing person cases are thought to end up every single year. Just within the city of Las Vegas, 60 to 80 people go missing every single weekend. As for Nevada's desert, it's also called the Nevada Triangle because over 2,000 planes have gone missing over this area over the last 50 years and have never been found. Never been found. It's a desert. It's not like they're plowing into the ocean. God only knows how many other people are buried in the desert in Nevada. Those urban legends about the mob can't be completely wrong. Number 4, Washington. In the state of Washington, there's about 4.3 million acres of wilderness, almost as much as Idaho. This is great for individuals who like hiking, love the outdoors, prepping for a zombie apocalypse, and of course, being without internet. And stop typing. We don't want to hear how you live in a fallout shelter and you get great Wi-Fi. We don't believe you. The Washington state wilderness is great until you have a missing person. It makes them hard to find. Like really hard to find. Like really, really hard to find. In the state of Washington, there is about 645 open missing persons cases. That's nearly 9 per 100,000 residents. Number 3, Oregon. Oregon is known for its dense forests, mountains, and unpredictable weather, sort of like Washington. The state currently has over 430 unsolved missing person cases as of this year, 2019. We do have a ton of homeless here in Portland, so I'm sure that plays into those numbers. But we do have one strange case that I'd been reading about, and it's that of Robert Bissell, a fisherman and experienced outdoorsman who took a camping and fishing trip alone back in July of 2010. When he failed to return on the day that he told his brother he would return, his brother went looking for him and found his campsite, but no Robert. Everything was in order. The only thing missing was his fishing gear and Robert. Rescue groups were called to do an extensive 8-day search following the missing persons report. However, almost a decade later, not a single trace of Robert Bissell has ever been found. And before we get to number 2, don't forget there's a poll towards the end of the video, and also I'm going to have some links and some things you should research regarding this subject. Number 2, Arizona. Arizona comes in second on this list with the most missing person cases. On average, there are about 11 open missing person cases for every 100,000 residents. Now, when you look at unsolved missing persons, Arizona has 879 unsolved missing persons that are in their database, dating all the way back to 1944 when Bertha Smith wrote a letter to her family saying that she was returning to Texas after remarrying near Phoenix. She was never seen or heard from again. The state even has a Missing in Arizona Day for those who have gone missing in the state and to help their loved ones who are still desperately searching for them. And number 1, Alaska. Alaska has the most unsolved missing person cases in the country. They win this competition by a landslide. Now, this could be linked to the massive amount of wilderness within the state like some of the others on this list. More than 2,000 people disappear every year in Alaska. Since authorities began record keeping in 1988, 60,000 people have been reported missing in Alaska. That's 5 people reported missing every year for every 1,000 residents. However, one very odd case is that of Michael LeMaitre. Every 4th of July in Seward, the city holds the Mount Marathon Race. The race is described by Outside Magazine as the toughest 5K on the planet. Back in 2012, the Alaskan resident, Michael, was nearly halfway through the race when he was last seen. Hours after he should have returned, a search and rescue team was set out to search for him, obviously. Nearly 7 years later, not a single trace of Michael has been found, even after extensive searches. And this one's really, really weird, because there was tons of people around that mountain at that time. Alright, so that's my top 10 states you're most likely to become a missing person. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And there's that little bell next to the subscribe button. If you haven't already hit that, that kind of gives you the heads up when I've uploaded. So maybe if you hit that, you might be able to get in and type in that first on the comment section like so many people cherish. Anyway, everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.